All right, good Erev Shabbos, everybody. On my way home from quite an interesting day today. Of course, today's the 25th of December, so therefore, most things are closed in America. And I got a call first thing in the morning as I'm getting ready to daven. That my kids, they went to go get tested for corona and they were negative for corona, but they were positive for strep throat. So that's easily treatable. You need an antibiotic. So they said, which pharmacy do you want to go to? All the pharmacies are closed. So I live about an hour away from a big Hasidic community, Kiryas Joel, New York. So we got in the car. I brought my son, who's not sick, and we went down to Kiryas Joel, an hour away. The doctor's office, I guess there was some miscommunication there, so we didn't get the thing to go through. The prescription didn't go through, so it took about an hour and a half. We were there, but got to go to the mikveh of Shabbos. We did some Shabbos shopping and stuff, and now I'm almost home. Baruch Hashem. And so here we are. So anyway, let's talk a little bit about the day. It's Asar B'Tevis. It's the fast of Tevis. We made a video already about the 8th of Tevis, which is when the Septuagint was translated, the Targum Hashivim. And we mentioned that yesterday, the 9th, is generally said to be the yard site of Ezra and Nehemiah. But today, the 10th, is also, not only is the yard site of Reb Nosson of Nemerov, Reb Nosson Sternhardt, who was the main student of Reb Nachman Breslover, very famous. He wrote the Likutei Halachos and really put together and Likutei Tefillos and most of Reb Nachman's Svarim. But traditionally, they said that today is the yard site of Chagai and Malachi, who were the last two prophets of the Hebrew Bible, of the last Nevi'im. And I was thinking about that I realized, first of all, there's an opinion that Ezra is actually, that Malachi was actually Ezra. It was actually Ezra's Sefer. In any event, but I was thinking about that if this is the yard site of Malachi, of Malachi, excuse me, that means that this is the day, since he was the last prophet of the Bible, he was the last prophet, that means that prophecy came to an end on this day, Asar B'Tevis. And that's a powerful, powerful thing. That's something to mourn. We know that there's a famous legend about how prophecy came to an end. That when the Jews came back from Babylonia and built the second temple, and they made the great assembly, the great synagogue, the Anshe Knesset Gedola. So then what happened was that we put together, the Anshe Knesset Gedola, right? And they prayed to God to remove the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, for several things, most notably idolatry. Meaning, during the time of the first temple, the lust for idolatry was so strong that it could be compared to things that we would consider to be physical lusts as human beings. But the legend goes, though, that they took away the lust for physical pleasures as well. And when they saw that the world wasn't continuing, even the chickens weren't even laying eggs, they said, no, the world can't exist like this, so we'll just make it a little bit more healthy, but we'll remove much of the lust but not totally remove those physical lusts. But this spiritual lust for idolatry, which seems so nonsensical to us, was just as strong in those days. And the Talmud even says that some of the rabbis were speaking about this lust for idolatry, and they couldn't understand how is it that someone like the king Manasseh, the son of Chizkiyahu Melech, the son of Hezekiah, such a great, righteous, and noble anointed king, and that his son should be so mired in idolatry, and he reigned for such a long time that idolatry filled the Holy Land. And they say, how could he do it? And the soul of Manasseh was conjured up. Of course, he repented at the end of his life, it's well known. And his soul came to these rabbis and told them, if you were alive in my day, you would have lifted up the corners of your robes to run to go worship idols. That was the level of lust and desire, that there was this irrational desire to worship idols. And so the rabbis say, the legend goes, was that God agreed to remove the Yetzer Hara, the lust for idolatry, the inclination for idolatry, but then to make it a level playing field, he also removed the gift of prophecy. And so that the combination of those two things, that we lost the lust for idolatry, but we also lost the gift of prophecy. That's part of the mystique of this day. And how to combine that with what we said about the translation of the Septuagint, of how the Septuagint, the problem with the translation was that it was a body without a soul. And so how much of the soul of our people has been lost because we don't have the gift of prophecy in our midst as we did in ancient times, and yet we still have the fruits of those gifts, that we have the scripture to guide us to this day, and how important it is to dedicate ourselves to learning the words of the prophets, but also to recognize that those words can be misinterpreted and they can be twisted, and so that's why they have to be seen through the lens of Torah. Before we conclude, we'll look at one little Dvar Torah on this week's Parsha, a very simple, well-known thing. The Gemara says, it's not a big chiddush, but it's worthwhile to look at, that when Joseph revealed himself to his brothers, they couldn't speak, they were so frightened. And our sages say on this, Oy lanu b'yom hadin, oy lanu liyom hateichacha. Woe to us on the judgment day, and woe to us, he's also producing a video, woe to us in the day of rebuke, that we won't be able to answer God, when we come and stand before God after we leave this world in that way. So the significance of that. And so, and that's something to remember and to embrace during this time, of this parsha, that to remember that how frightened we will be to answer God. Shlomi, you want to talk?
No.
You're talking while I'm talking.
I don't want to talk.
Okay, but you're advertising your own channel?
Yeah, well, I have my own channel, so everybody can see that.
Yeah, it's more interesting than Tati's, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Why do you have your own channel? I don't think that's appropriate. Maybe when you're older you could have your own channel. Yeah, but the nobody knows their names. Like the hobby kids, nobody knows their last name or anything. You know, Ryan. Nobody knows like stuff like that. Like it's to keep you safe. That's why I don't want to.
Yeah, but those are the kids ones. Kids
Yeah.
don't need to know about that.
Yeah. Well, what's your channel about?
I don't know a lot of things.
Yeah. Oh, actually. All right, we're home. All right. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe. Comment. Have a good Shabbos. We'll see you later.